Aloha, this is Hope Johnson with Wisdom Dialogues. Today is November the 16th, and I'm very happy to be here. Thank you. Mahalo. I'm going to go to some questions right now that were submitted in writing on our group. Our group is on Facebook and it's called Wisdom Dialogues. If you go to facebook.com/groups/Wisdom Dialogues, you can join and find out whenever these Wisdom Dialogue sessions are going to be available. Okay, so my beautiful friend sent a couple of questions. Number one, if life is just happening the way it's happening, that the script is already written as to how our life occurs, and that the only choice within the realm of choicelessness is love or fear, then why is it, as I've heard it be said by you, that feelings are the creative power, and by feeling the sensation of what one desires actually creates a new reality? There is clarity that there is nothing to do, essentially, like a formula or a practice, that all is being taken care of. Yet I'd love to have you expand on this, pretty please. Let life happen or create the reality? Is it an or an and? Okay. So, what is this, what we call reality, with all of the manifestations, all of the actions and everything like that? It is a manifestation of the subconscious mind, which includes all of the impressions, all of the feeling impressions that have gone before. So past feelings make up present reality, quote unquote reality, because the reality is really an illusion. So everything material that can be sensed, everything that can be seen, touched, tasted, every circumstance, every person, it's all a manifestation made within the subconscious mind. It could be seen like the subconscious mind is sort of like a womb, and it's being fertilized in every moment by the impressions that are sent through feeling. So it's not a matter of trying to do anything, not a matter of trying to create our own reality. That choice between love and fear that's happening from moment to moment, already happening from moment to moment, is the impressions that are being delivered to the subconscious mind. And that's what's creating the reality. That's what's writing the future. Right now, in the present moment, that's what's writing the future. That choice between love or fear. We don't know how it's going to represent itself. It's a total interpretation that's a mystery to our conscious mind. But it's an interpretation of all the feelings that have gone before. So, yes, letting life flow and being aware of our reactions to what's being perceived, that's what allows love to be chosen in the moment. Because when we're aware of our reactions to what's perceived, we also become aware that what's perceived is an illusion. And in that, love becomes the choice automatically. So it's not like there's someone there to make the choice. It could be said that the choice for love is just a willingness to face whatever feeling is arising without trying to rationalize it or explain it or get out of it or change it. That's what allows the subconscious mind to manifest a reality that's much more loving. Still, it's an illusion. Still, what we perceive as reality is an illusion. ultimately the illusion will be wiped away. And we'll still be there to experience the reality that's beyond illusion. This need to create this illusion so that it's more comfortable, joyful, anything like that, is also fearful, because there's that fear that we can't do it. And there's really no we like that. There's nothing to do. There's no one to do it. So in choosing love, it's just a matter of choosing right now as it is. If anyone has any questions about that or would like some further clarity, please raise your hand. I'm moving on to the next question. If there is a relationship with another, romantic or otherwise, and there is a desire that one person has that is contradicting another, even with something as simple as, I'd like to go to a movie versus I don't want to go to a movie, then what to do? While the one who does want to go to the movie can go by themselves, of course, and fulfill that desire, the intention was that it would be a shared experience. It often feels like there's an acquiescence in my personal situation, or perhaps not as far as to give in to the other, yet it appears to me as though I am the one not having my desire to be fulfilled in the division of interests. LOL. Belief in thought creates reality. I get it. And there is a complete knowing that it's all me. Within this knowing, consider me totally unclear. Who is unclear? Ha. And again, as a number one again, a number one above, it begs the question about actually just letting life flow and see if the movie date just happens to come about. Weird. It's all being taken care of without having to know, not trying to fix or have it be some other way around. But my ego wants answers and a how-to formula, LOL. Okay. So in a relationship with another, two people seemingly wanting to do different things, it's not a matter of making a choice between one way or the other, or having our way or having the other person have their way. It's only a matter of seeing what choice is motivated out of us, because we're not really making that choice. That choice is actually coming from the subconscious mind, like I said before. It's an interpretation of all of the feelings that have led up to this moment. The choice is only an interpretation. So there's no choice to be made. There's no acquiescence, actually. It's just the choice is really just happening, and it's real fun to be curious and just notice what choice is arising instead of having to try and decide. We can only try to decide between one thing and another. We don't really decide between one thing or another. That's an automatic thing. It's just arising. Just like any thought is arising. It's not really that we're choosing to think a certain thing. The thought is just arising. The decision is also just arising like that. So this really takes a lot of stress and tension off of the whole situation, where there's just a willingness to see what you decide. And there's no why about it. There's no how about it. It's just seeing whatever decision happens to be motivated out of us. And it's all good. So if anyone has any questions about that, please raise your hand and let me know. Aloha, Bob.
Hi, is it still just you and me?
It's just you and me, as far as I
Oh,
can
one.
see.
Okay. Well, yeah. So that you're talking about something deeper, the subconscious mind that's working through us, that's kind of beyond our choice or decision making, and
Yeah.
that what results in that it appears to be reality, but it's actually illusion.
Yes.
So, they say that you don't exist to serve the illusion exists to serve you, because it is an
Yeah, serve you in a
illusion. Yeah, there's no power in the external projection. You're the projector, the projecting the projection, so you have all the reality and power within you. You're saying the subconscious mind. But now, like there's Jesus, who uh, what he was projecting through his life and being was what he called the Father
Okay.
consciousness. I am my own and do nothing. The Father within doeth the works. Why callest thou me
Okay.
good? The Father, uh, if I bear witness to myself, I bear witness to a lie. If thou seest me, thou seest the Father that sent me. So,
Yes.
so then
Beautiful.
you, so then he's presented with sin, disease, lack, limitation, and death, and through this Father consciousness that he channeled through his being, then uh, uh, showed that all of these negative appearances were illusion, and that the reality of being was this love of the Father that could heal and transform all of these negative appearances into wholeness and beauty and purity.
Yes.
So that seems to be the key to get out of, or to see that there are somehow some kind of what would you say? Is it some kind of like negative memories or data or programming that projects all of these negative illusions out in the world? Or that then an enlightened person like a Jesus then would be projecting this reality above and beyond this world. He said, "My kingdom is not of this world," and that would heal and transform these negative appearances of this world.
Okay, a couple things on that. Um, First
Yeah.
of all, the illusion isn't negative or positive. It's just the result of feeling that we're separate. It's a result of feeling that we're limited. Okay, the whole illusion is based on that. And there's not projecting anything real into the illusion. The only thing that can be projected into the illusion is more illusion. Where our power is the sharing of love within the illusion. Okay? That's what brings the illusion to truth and reconciles it. So it's not as if we need any particular outcome in order to share this love. It's just a matter of seeing that the illusion is false instead of instead of going along with it as if it's true, as if that's who we are. You mentioned Jesus saying, "I of myself can do nothing," and you said something else there. What was that you said about I of myself am nothing? Is that what you said?
I my own self can do nothing. The Father within doeth the works.
And what else?
Well, why call me good? There is but one good, the Father in heaven. If thou seest me, uh, uh, thou seest the lie. That
Perfect.
the the limited personality is the lie. That the true
Yes.
identity is this Father consciousness.
Exactly. The limited personality is the lie. That's the thing. So there's this seeking to make the limited personality into something that it's not, something other than a lie. It's trying to make the limitation, the limited personality into truth by saying, how should I do this? What should I choose? The thing is, it's a complete illusion. This I that thinks it can do anything, that thinks it can make a choice as to how the illusion is going to go.
It seems like all these questions and problems are this limited I, and that this is what's getting projected out into the world that's creating all of the negative illusions.
Yes, because there's identification with it. It's not like the limited I is any problem, or it's not right or wrong. It's just that there's identification, as in, I am this limitation.
Hmm.
You know, you see that so much in a lot of spiritual teachings going on right now too, to try to get people to feel more comfortable with being an illusion. And you know, the thing that I'm inviting people to do is be totally uncomfortable with being an illusion, with feeling yourself to be an illusion. It should be uncomfortable because it's not true. Okay,
Yeah, we don't want to be
identity is an
comfortable.
illusion. It's not true.
Right. Yeah. We want to get. We don't want to get comfortable in it. We want. That's what creates the pearl is the irritation in the shell. So we
Yes.
we, we don't want to be comfortable in our illusion, in our separate selfhood, and that's what pushes us out to try and discover something else that we have dissatisfaction with the separate limited selfhood, and so yeah, then I guess that limited selfhood has to see itself for what it is,
Yeah.
instead of beating itself up, its ego, or its self-esteem or something like that. That it's good and not bad, but it can never be anything other than what would you say? It's just an illusory sense of self, I guess.
Yes.
So then the then the question is to allow this other to live our life. I live, but not I. Christ liveth my life. So that's the key, and then that's living our life. Then we don't have to worry about choices or anything that we're the channel, we're the avenue of awareness or expression, the transparency for this light, for this higher identity to be made manifest. They talk about the Word made flesh, the Word I am, the I am, I am that I am. That is the same I am that everyone is and God is. It's the love is love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and love thy neighbor as thyself, because we all three share the same identity, the same I am identity. And so, it's like
Yeah.
Genesis, the burning bush appeared to Moses, and he says, "My name is I am. This is my name forever. This is my title for all generations." And so this is the I am of God, which is the I am of you and me and all life. So that is the one and only identity or ego that we all share in common. And that's the only really thing that can that is real and that can bring about satisfaction in living, really.
Yeah, and that
The,
that satisfaction is is knowing that we are not the illusion. That's where the satisfaction is. What I see is that there's this seeking to make us comfortable with being an illusion.
But it seems like any form and effect, anything that you can see, hear, taste, touch, and smell is illusion. So the
Yes.
reality is what is invisible, what is beneath or above or beyond sensation, form and
Yes.
effect. Because all form and effect, it's finite, it's limited. It's here 1 second and
Yes, and
gone the
there's
next.
mhm.
Yeah,
And
go
there's
ahead.
a fear of losing this form. There's a fear of losing the form, the manifestation, fear of not having any more experiences, and
Right,
that's what
like
keeps the
death.
illusion held together. That's what's keeping the illusion held together. This fear of not
Right.
having this flesh, not being this flesh, and having experiences like we do. Because it's not it's
Mm-hmm.
it's not it's not knowing and or not experiencing that there's something beyond this illusion. And that's why there's this need to try to change the illusion. And look, the illusion does lighten up. It gets more pleasing and more joyful as there's a willingness to see that it's not real. It's completely not real. It's completely fabricated. And basically it's fabricated out of a feeling of shame, you know. And what I see lately is this attempt to try to make shame as if it's valuable to making the illusion better, to making the illusion feel better, which it can create that illusion that okay, now that I felt shame, it's telling me to see like this or to act like this in the illusion, where it's really, when it comes up like that, it's an opportunity to see through the illusion, not to re-identify as an illusion that needs to react a certain way to it. A lot of analytical mind comes in whenever we feel certain emotions, whenever we feel certain feelings that feel uncomfortable. And sometimes there's an attempt to make an uncomfortable feeling feel comfortable. And, what I'm inviting people to see is that an uncomfortable feeling is actually meant to be uncomfortable for a reason, because it's an opportunity to see through the illusion that we are humans, limited, destined to suffer and die. And we are not that. That's an illusion. It can be said that the illusion is us because it's an extension of our mind, but we are not the illusion. That's the difference. To say I am human, I am limited, is to say that I'm an illusion. And like Jesus said, it's a lie. This me is a lie. This me that's made up of thoughts is totally a result of conditioning. And what's identifying with that is more conditioning. And as long as it's identified like that, as long as we are identified as being a separate self, human, then that's what holds the illusion together. That's what's necessary to hold the illusion together. And the truth is, most people don't want to let the illusion fall apart. There's this real fear of letting the illusion fall apart because there's a fear of there's nothing else. And there isn't
Uh,
anything that can identified in the mind. There's nothing that can be described by the mind. But it's but any kind of bliss or pleasure that the mind can produce is just a shadow of the reality that's before this illusion, that's behind this illusion of separate bodies that die.
Yeah, well, you say it's conditioning, but then you've talked about how there's no need to decondition yourself.
Well, who would decondition themselves? It would be more conditioning to do that. Right?
Well, I guess you just decondition yourself by seeing the conditioning.
Yeah, well, see, just saying you decondition yourself, that's not a real you. The deconditioning occurs, but there's not anyone who does it.
Well, there would have to
It's
be
like,
something
go ahead.
there would have to be something unconditioned that would dispel the conditioning, something this other that is within you. So I think of this quote by Yogananda. He says, "This is the movie of God. Don't be disturbed by war and disaster. Look to the pure beam."
Okay.
So it's like if you're in the movie theater and the film is projecting behind you and you're disturbed by the horror movie or whatever that you're watching and the illusion of it, the reality of it is the light, is the pure beam, that there is no
Yes.
movie. The projector can go, but without that light that projects the image onto the screen, there is no movie. So that's basically the primal substance of the movie is the light itself, and that light contains no form, contains no form or shadow or shape or color. It's just pure white light. And
Yeah.
that purity is
Without
the substance reality.
Yes, and without ego, there's no projection and no screen. The screen is basically
So then we're just,
consciousness. Consciousness is also finite.
mm-hmm.
So it's all happening. I would say it's all happening in God. The movie is happening in God, but it's not of God. It's of the ego. Because when the ego is no more, there's no screen, which is consciousness. There's no consciousness. Consciousness is an effect of thinking that we're separate. That's a
Yeah.
common misperception that this is all something that's created by God. I mean, maybe you could say that in a way because it takes God's power, but it's being hijacked by the ego in the belief that there's separation. Because God doesn't create anything that passes away. God's creations don't pass away, and nor do they suffer. That's a total make-believe world where things pass away and suffer. So that's a really common New Age perception that says that this illusion with all of the suffering and things that pass away is made by God, and it's somehow divine. That's what holds it in place. That's one way to keep the whole thing in place. Try to make it as something that's created by truth. And the way to see through it is to see that it's not true.
But then you got to know what is true. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. You know?
Yeah, one way to know what's true is just to see everything that's not true. Be aware of everything that's not true.
Right.
And then the
To
truth is
experience
revealed.
right through knowing the negative, then the positive gets revealed.
The truth gets revealed, yes. But there has to be a willingness to see what's not real. And when we're busy making this illusion into something that God created or we as divine beings created, it's saying that it's not made up. That creation includes things that pass away. And to do that is to make the illusion keep it intact, stay intact. It prevents it from falling apart. It's basically, awakening is the illusion falling apart until ultimately there's no need for rebirth. The only thing that's causing this illusion of being born is a perceived need for more experience.
Well, but then what else are you going to do for eternity?
just just be.
Just be. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, there's the theory that where God's having a human experience, that God gets tired of love and light and harmony in heaven all the time, and God wants that experience of not God. God wants limitation. God
Yeah.
wants illusion, because God just to be stuck in heaven and light for eternity is kind of boring. Some people
Oh
almost say it's
yeah.
like a so that's why they say this is the best of all conceivable worlds, because we're God's trying to conceive of a world where we're limited and our powers are reduced and we do suffer, whereas in heaven all that's impossible. So we wanted to create a plane of existence, a universe where all of these horrors and tragedies and atrocities can happen. That's why this is all happening. Why the illusion has been allowed to exist in the first place.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it doesn't exist. That's what makes it an illusion. It doesn't even
Right,
exist. So it's
but then
not.
here we are. Right, it doesn't exist, but here we are. We can turn on the news and hear about all the horrors and atrocities that there they are. We're listening to them. We're seeing them. We can go down the road downtown and see horrors and atrocities. Down in downtown.
Uh-huh.
So then all of these are appearances, and yet but they appear and we experience them, and people are hurting and suffering uh,
Yeah.
from these appearances. It's happening all around, and more so than ever, it seems like.
Yes, and at the same time, who we are isn't suffering at all. That's also an appearance, and and appearances are designed to suck us in and make us feel as if we're real as an illusion, as
Right.
something as something that can suffer, as something that can actually suffer. And this idea that this is God's will makes it seem like there's some kind of um, divine plan for suffering. And all it's
Well,
for, all suffering can do is turn us inward. That's all it can be for, is to turn our attention back inward to the one who's noticing. And then there's no suffering. There's no such thing.
yeah, well, they say, but that's what the whole purpose is, that, you don't know what you've got till it's gone. That, we we're born into this world of suffering, and we're trapped in it. And then we have the thrill of rediscovering, remembering our true identity and our true being and power that is above and beyond these forms and effects. And that there's this idea that life is this expansion and contraction from godhood to limitation, and that we go back and forth, expand and contract. You know, we have the 1,000 years of peace, and then we go back to you know, suffering and pain. So you know, what you know, you hear about, you know, angels and ascended masters and everything that live on these higher dimensions of being, who are like pure love and light, and you can, you know, angels, you can ask them for help, you know. So is the idea uh, you know, ascend or realize this higher identity that are like angelic or masters or ascended masters or whatever. Is that where we're destined to be?
Absolutely. Yes. Destined to be unmanifest for sure. And even beyond that, destined to not have any trace of fear or shame or suffering within us.
Mm,
So it's like even
mm,
when the body dies uh, and and we go unmanifest, you know, there's still this energy, mind energy, that says that we're separate, and then birth takes place again. So ultimately, the destiny of everyone is to not have that burden of shame, a burden of fear. And the way out is through. The way out is feeling the full effects, not trying to make them into something that we actually need for this illusion. We don't need anything for this illusion. The illusion is going on its own, and it's working itself out till ultimately there there is no more conscious or subconscious mind. There's only purity. There's only pure experience.
mm. Well, it
There's not.
seems like the problem is this idea of sin. It's the sin that you know, makes us guilty and shameful. You know, that everyone lived in the Garden of Eden until God said, if you eat of this fruit, you know, you're going to sin. And so that seems to be the everything that throws us out. That there's some kind of violation or
Right.
you know, crime or sin that gets us in prison or gets us in hell. You know, I grew up Catholic, and you know, I was afraid of going to hell if I didn't confess all
Yeah.
my sins. And like I was telling you about this cartoon, this woman with a priest saying, "I'm a lesbian, and please show me what needs to happen for me to be free of this sin." And the priest disappears. Pop, and the
Yeah.
priest is gone.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
the priest this idea of sin that created the whole problem in the first place. When we're all originally, you know, Matthew Fox wrote the book Original Innocence,
Uh-huh.
that we're innocent, that we're
Yeah.
not sinners. We didn't transgress or violate or anything. That's just an illusion, a
Yeah.
tempter. You know, Jesus went through the three temptations in the wilderness. They say, oh, well, Jesus became Jesus after the baptism, but that's not true. After the baptism was the three temptations, and he overcame those temptations, and then that's when he had his full power and began his Christ ministry. So we have these temptations for either grandiosity, thinking that we're great and powerful and we can do whatever we want with our powers, or this opposite, you know, which is thinking that we're worms in the dust and sinners and guilty and ashamed, and you know, this kind of duality in that way that the
Yes,
ego is to
those are
be
both the
stuck in.
same. Yes, those are both the
Right.
same.
To
Grandiosity
some,
or that smallness are both arrogance. Two sides of arrogance.
two
Yeah,
sides
either
of the
way.
same.
Yeah. Yeah, and here's the thing. It's more like a mistake, this idea that we're separate, and then at the same time, the mistake never really happened. So there's nothing but innocence. It's like this
Yeah.
is it not it's not it hasn't really happened. This whole world with all the separation and everything like that never even happened. And neither did the mistake. It's certainly not a sin. And and the thing is, someone asked me before, why did God allow this to happen? And it's like God didn't allow it to happen. It didn't even happen. It's only an idea that it's happening. It's
Well,
only
yeah, because yeah, so Adam and Eve were naked and ashamed in the garden, and God asked them, who you know, who told you you were naked? Who told you that you had to be ashamed that you were naked?
uh-huh.
So that's just it. It didn't come from God. God didn't tell you you were ashamed to be naked. He created you naked. That's
Yes.
the most beautiful thing in the world is the beautiful nude physical form. Uh, but so then we were talking about language, that it
Uh-huh.
seems like the word, the symbol, is what kind of takes us into the illusion, because the word tree is not the tree, it's a symbol of the tree, but then we lose touch with the tree. This is how we've lost touch with the natural world and the spiritual world, is because we got into these symbols and words that Adam created language and started naming all of the various animals and plants and phenomenon. But in order to do that, you have to separate them into being different to be able to label them. So it seems
Okay.
like language might be the culprit.
Well, there's no culprit. That's the thing. There's not any culprit. No, nothing is wrong.
Hmm.
Um, it's just a matter of seeing. It's just a matter of being willing to see that our identity is not an illusion and it's not within an illusion. It's not limited. It's not something that's limited. Whatever we perceive to be limited is a perception only. And we are not a perception.
We're the perceiver.
We're not even the perceiver. We're aware of that whole thing going forward. The whole the whole birth of it, and every moment is like a birth of this
Hmm.
illusion. And we are not a perceiver either. We're actually aware of the perceiver. And anything that can be defined, perceiver can be defined, right? It's like, who is noticing the perceiver that can't be defined? And it could keep on going back like that. Anything that can be defined, that's not who we are. Anything, because our reality, the real reality, can't be described in the mind. It can't even be conceived by the mind. And that's where the fear comes in, because it can't be conceived by the mind. It can only be directly experienced. And there's a fear as if we're not something that can be conceived in the mind, then we're dead. We are not. Like there's no us before the mind, and that's totally false. We are before the mind. The mind is arising within us, and the reality that's before the mind is not something that can be described. It's not something that anyone in all sanity would want to sacrifice in exchange for an illusion of separation. Because there's nothing in this world that even measures up to what it's like to be in the real world.
Yeah, well, there's all the philosophers and scientists in throughout history that are trying to discover, what life is. Was it the Big Bang? Was it God? There's all these geniuses, intellectuals, spiritual, scientific giants who are devoting their lives to discovering the truth of existence, formulating a
Uh-huh.
theory, or an equation, or it's the hologram, it's the black, dark matter, or it's whatever. There's all these theories. It's the black hole. Um, it's this, that, and the other thing. But basically, what you're saying is it's impossible to ever formulate or conceptualize
Yes.
conclude.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because
All that looking is just gonna result in more illusions about the illusion.
right.
So that we can think we know.
Yeah, well, they say that what you're looking for is who is looking, and
Yes.
it's the Saint Augustine said, "Everyone of wonders and marvels at the great mountains and the wonders of nature and the cosmos, but they pass by themselves without even wondering."
Yes.
And so it's like, who is it that's trying to discover this answer
Mm.
to the riddle of existence? So that's
Yeah.
why they say that which I am seeking, I already am. And the search for enlightenment is like riding an ox in search of the ox,
Yeah.
and so it's stopping and looking at yourself, and once again, then seeing that all of this is your projection. It doesn't come from anywhere but within you, like you say. It's your subconscious that's projecting this apparent reality, that's illusion,
Yes.
and any formula or answer or theory is just an illusion about an illusion.
Yes. Exactly. All right. I see Gail has joined us. Aloha, Gail. Okay. I'm gonna go to Gail now, Bob. Okay. Let me know if you have any more questions. You could just
Oh,
raise your.
thank you.
Aloha, Gail.
Hi, my love.
Yay, there you are.
You can see me clapping. You can hear me now.
I can hear you clapping. Yes. Hooray. I already went over the questions you asked. I don't
Oh,
know if
did
you
you?
heard. You probably
No, I
weren't.
came on a half an hour late.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, but if you have any more that you'd like to dialogue about, that would be great, because I don't know if the question you asked was totally addressed. Um, but
Okay.
it's all real basic. It's all
Of
real,
course.
yeah. It's all real simple. Like number one, happening the way it's happening. There's nothing to do, like formula or practice. All's being taken care of. Yeah. Well, and you talked about feeling the sensation of what one desires actually creates a new reality, and yeah. And there's no need to try to feel the sensation of what's desired. Just feeling the sensation of whatever is arising, that
Mm-hmm.
automatically works it out in the subconscious mind.
Mm-hmm.
Just being there for this sensation of whatever's arising. So we don't have to try to get into a feeling like imagine something that's really good and then feel like that, you know. Just feeling whatever it is. When we're not repressing it or not rejecting the feeling, the the subconscious mind automatically goes to a higher vibration,
Mm-hmm.
and that higher vibration is a feeling more in alignment with what's joyful. I can't even say what we want because the idea that we want this illusion it's kind of maybe on some level we want this illusion as an ego because we're afraid of what's basically dying because there's there's no way to describe through the mind what it's like to not have the illusion of separation. And you
Hmm.
know, most of us haven't had the direct experience of it either.
Right?
Yeah. So you know that actually takes a lot of faith at first to be willing to see through the illusion, to be willing to take in whatever it is that's arising, knowing that the illusion itself will be taken care of. And not just taken care of in the way where it gets better. It does get better. That's a side effect, though, of the illusion falling apart.
Yes.
And as long as there's a need to keep holding the illusion together, then there's going to keep being suffering. Maybe it's going to lighten up for a while. It's going to get pleasant for a while, but it's always there, ready to come back up again. As long as as long as there's that need to keep experience going, keep experience in the illusion going.
Ego driven. Um,
Yeah,
but on top of that, thank you, Hope, for addressing that. Oh, I just love you.
I
Um,
love you.
Thank you. So this was funny. I was watching Dancing with the Stars last night because I admit it, I love that show. I love it. And the reason I love it so much is primarily because I watch these people transform over the course of their experience, their dedicated time of, I think, 10 weeks to perform and come into that, who's going to win the trophy thing. However,
Yeah,
it's just a beautiful experience to watch and watch them grow. And in many segments, they show personal information. They really reveal behind the scenes, like the person and what their life is like, and their struggles, etc. And then
hmm
last night, they were showing how each individual, each contestant, was
uh-huh,
actually dreaming of something like this forever. Like they'd gone through so much. The one girl always had her sights on moving to LA and being a singer. Like she told people that every single day.
yeah,
And then it manifested. And I thought you had said once that, it seems like it's an apparent manifestation and not actually that they did anything to have that happen. So there's a paradox in my opinion. I just wanted
yeah.
to,
Yeah, so the mind is set on a particular outcome, which there's nothing wrong with that. The mind can be set on particular outcomes, and to the extent there's not also um, hindrances to that, as if I can't do it, the belief that I can't do it, it's
mm-hmm,
never going to happen, that kind of stuff,
mm-hmm,
um, and that's all happening automatically. So people see something like that happen and go, "Oh, how can I make that happen for me?" You know, when
yes,
she actually didn't make it happen, that's just the way the subconscious mind was going. And and there's no need to try to make anything happen because we actually don't know what we want. It
mm-hmm,
seems like we do. We actually don't know what we want. But I've had the same kind of experiences where it's just like I go, oh well, that would be nice for this. Like one of them was, oh, it would be nice to live on the street I'm living on. That came out, and then there wasn't any attraction to any kind of thought that said I couldn't for any kind of reason.
Mm,
So yeah,
gotcha.
it came, you know, and that's a choice between love and fear that's being made in
Yes.
every moment. Because when those thoughts arise that say, "Oh, you can't," and all this other stuff, or even on the other side, "This is what I need to be happy." See, it's not like there's an attraction to "this is what I need to be happy" too. It allows it to manifest really easeful. Now, it could still
Hmm.
manifest saying that this is what I need to be happy. It's just that it'll seem to take a lot of work too.
Hmm.
You know, it'll seem to take a lot of uh, just good old hard work.
Good old hard work,
Yeah,
laboring, and my sweat at my brow,
yeah.
and
Instead of just allowing the manifestation to happen, which is happening anyways, and
hmm.
that's how it's going. The apparent reality is just happening. It's like I said earlier, maybe before you were on, the subconscious mind is kind of like a womb, and it's being fertilized by every feeling. Every feeling is being put into it, and then the subconscious mind is just manifesting a reality based on that. It's an interpretation of all the feeling that has gone before. This moment, that's what this moment is. It's an
Mm,
interpretation of feeling. So it could be used
interesting.
that way to try to get the subconscious mind to do our bidding, so to speak. And it can also just be allowed to manifest however it does, noticing that every perception is an opportunity to see through the illusion instead of make the illusion better, because we can only
Yes.
temporarily make the illusion better. That's only temporarily, but the opposite is bound to come back around.
Unless you dissolve that shit in the subconscious mind. Um,
Yeah, and then there's no you to dissolve it either.
yeah.
It's just seeing it gets dissolved in seeing that it is an illusion and that we are not an illusion. We
Hmm.
are actually not an illusion, and that's the thing. It's like when I say we, a lot of the times the way it's taken is as separate individuals who
Hmm.
are an illusion, as a
Right.
body and mind. But you know, that's not what I mean by it, and I know it's hard to communicate that or to get the meaning of it, but I know the seeds are planted, and that's what we're doing. We're planting seeds into the subconscious mind that will
Yeah.
ultimately just
Germinate.
eliminate it, basically.
Oh.
destroy destroy it, and the universe as we know it disappears.
Hmm. Disappearance of the universe.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
uh, yes. Yes. Hmm. Yes. Even giggling is transformative.
Oh
It's just
yeah, for sure, for sure.
a natural uprising. And so what
Yeah.
I remembered, it's like I want a guy who's going to be that way with me. And I know that you had once said, I'd like to have, or you were experiencing a man at your lotus feet, like what that would feel like to have
Yeah.
that experience. And then Tony showed up like right after the fact.
Really soon after, yeah. And it was just kind of automatic. I didn't do any kind of research or have any exposure to anything like the law of attraction or anything like that. So I wasn't trying to do anything.
Hmm.
I was really enjoying the experience, which was an imagined experience just because I thought it was fun to fall asleep every night feeling completely loved. It felt good, and there's no other ulterior motive to that other than that experience right there. You know, and there is not even the idea that it would be fulfilled by a man actually.
Right, right. Could be a bunny rabbit for fuck's
Or
sake.
could yeah, 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 and see it's like it's like what's experienced is a reflection of that. Like as
Mm,
the man that comes in and is a reflection of that. It's not actually not filled by him either. You know, that could
yes.
that could go any way, and that beautiful non illusory one is
Yes.
always there. That's always me. That, I'm not the illusion. I'm not an individual that's needy. All my needs are met. All of our needs are met. All of us. For all of us. It's just that sometimes it seems like they're not met. And I say sometimes because it's in time. It's totally in time. Without the illusion of time, uh, there's nothing that's not totally perfect.
And that's what makes that smile on your face so damn pretty. Yes. Yeah. So, thank you. And was there something else? Um, okay. I'm just digesting there's an integration of what you're conveying
Yeah.
that it's settling in this sparkly way. And so the last thing, was there something else?
There was a
Oh,
second question here about being in a relationship with another, and there's a desire that one person has that's contradicting another, even with something as simple as I'd like to go to a movie versus I don't want to go to a movie.
yep.
So, yeah, it's basically there's no decision to make because there's no decision maker actually. It's all it's all just it's all just being motivated. All the decisions are motivated entirely in the subconscious mind and projected onto the screen of consciousness.
Screw
So
that.
yeah, so when we identify as one who needs to make a decision, that's where it gets confusing because the decision is going to be made even if we try to make the decision. It's we're not ultimately making a decision because we're not a decision maker. That's all just a happening. It's an automatic happening. It like I said before, whatever's happening right now is an interpretation of past feelings.
I know. I don't like that. I don't like that answer because if I want to buy that house, but he doesn't want to buy that house, that just seems screwed up.
Fun. It's
It's fun?
fun. Yeah, because it's unknown. It's always unknown.
Uh, damn it.
And the unknown is actually where we want to be, despite what the ego tells us that we want. The unknown is where we want to be,
Oh, yes. Yes.
despite what the
And
ego is saying.
okay, so I'm like I'm saying I want to buy a house, but I really probably don't because I don't the mind doesn't know what I want. It's so I'm just going to stand here until I get an inspiration to be guided by the truth of my being. You know, you see what I'm saying? I'm just playing with it. It feels
Yeah,
so conceptual.
yeah, you're not standing there either. All you're doing is noticing whatever you seem to be doing. All you can do is notice. You can't stand still and you can't make a decision either way. Yeah, all you can do is notice whatever you seem to do. So the one who wants to buy a house isn't you. It's an image of you.
But that's okay.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with any of the images.
Hmm.
It's just when we make idols out of the images, like
Sure.
say that I want to buy a house, so now I have to try to pursue that, you know. because it's like the one who wants to buy the house is not real. So when it's not
Okay.
seen as being unreal, it could just be allowed to play out however it plays out, whether the house gets bought or not. And there doesn't have to be any tension around it. And what I found is that, ironically, it's way easier to buy a house. And it's also easier to not buy a house if that's what happens.
It sounds more like an attachment, the the mind's attachment to an outcome.
An outcome. Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. That's what's going on. It's all attachment to outcome because it's identification as this illusion
Mhm.
to get something out of the world. And there's
So,
nothing the world just can't satisfy. It really can't satisfy. Yeah. So there's nothing to seek. whether
yes. Well,
whether a house gets bought or not, whether the illusion of a house being bought or no house being bought, you're the same. You're always pure joy, pure light, and you're never suffering. That's also an illusion. You can't suffer. You're not capable of suffering. You just
yes.
identify with an illusion that says it's suffering.
Right. So yes, integrate the sparkles. Um, it's so the fact that a woman has $6,000 of my money and refuses to return it to me is something I should just be like, hey, cool, all right, don't return it to me then, enjoy it. I know that's not what you're saying, Hope, but
Be however you are.
uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
if you're in I don't know, disappointment or anger or whatever feeling it is, but if you're in any kind of feeling, just be that. it's totally good. And
totally valid.
yeah, it's just like it just let that be what it is because it's really pointing to the feeling is always pointing to
Hmm.
what makes up the illusion of separation. It's not actually caused by what seems to have happened in the world.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
What seems to
Yes.
have happened in the world is triggering that feeling to come up to the surface so that the underlying illusion can be resolved.
Hmm.
So it's a matter of only watching, however, whatever kind of actions are motivated out of you. I mean, who knows? Maybe you'll sue her. It doesn't matter because it's only an appearance.
Yes. Yes.
So just
And
just only, just only noticing is what's happening. Nothing else is happening.
and in noticing, it kind of pierces through the illusion to truth and all the. It's like seeing the truth, having that act out, and
Yeah.
having the eyes to see the truth at the same time, to be that witness to what's happening. So you're not identifying with what's rolling out over there. If I hire a lawyer, but
Yeah.
just roll it out without identifying as like this is happening and I'm creating it and I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
And I often go back and forth. I vacillate between this is a concept and this is really what's happening. And yet I notice that the body being the subconscious mind, as I've heard you say, that
Uh-huh.
man, when I keep just hanging with those sensations, really surprising things happen. So
Uh-huh.
if I'm really pissed off at her, I might as well just hang with that for a while and see what happens. She might have given me the money back because I'm no longer pissed off, you know?
Yeah. Because what happens is um, the subconscious mind through the consciousness comes to recognize that these feelings are not being caused by the external world.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
and then it can be seen what's really the cause of the feeling, and then it's not something that triggers anymore. It stops being a trigger.
Yes. Yes. And in
And it,
fact, an example is that Matthew, who's been in my life,
yes.
it came to a point where I used to be like, when he'd do something that occurred for me as if he did something to me that was very upsetting, which I came to recognize as I'm just like barfing my projections all over there with him, and
Yeah.
want him to hold it for a while. But that anger that used to erupt from something he quote unquote did, or something I perceived he was doing, it doesn't exist any longer. It's really wonderful to say, wow, go
Yeah.
ahead and do that again and again, because I'm not pissed anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Please be as you are.
Yes, yes,
Giving,
it's
giving
true.
me exactly what's necessary to see through
Exactly.
all of these lies.
Yes. The other night I said to him, you know what? I feel this burning in my chest because you want to go see that person who happens to be a woman. And I would feel the burn. And I said, he would get a little, not defensive, but try to like, okay, I understand, but I got to go because, and I said, there's no need to say anything about it. You don't need to do that. What's important is over here. This burning in my chest is my friend right now. And I'm experiencing this. There's nothing for you to do. And so in doing so, there was so much more freedom to relate because they said, you just keep bringing this up and give me that opportunity. You're
Yeah.
giving me an opportunity rather than thinking, oh, I don't want to tell her because she might react. I said, you're gypping us both. So when it comes up, I'm like, baby, I just keep feeling the burn. Go out and have a good time and I will feel it. It's my job.
Yes, beautiful. And I'd also like to point out that you don't vacillate.
The you doesn't vacillate. The
Yeah, you're,
mind, right? Is that what you're going to
yeah,
say?
yeah. You're only noticing vacillation within the mind.
Yes, thanks again for saying that. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Want to make that really clear because the huge thing is that we don't change. We are not changeful.
Mm-hmm.
There's no
Mm-hmm.
there's no change, and we can't be measured, and we can't be touched by any thought.
Mm-hmm. Muji would say the only thing changeful are words. Words are changeful. They everything else is just staying right where it is, beautiful and perfect.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah. So I really absolutely resonate with you, Hope, the frequency in which you exist. And it's just so beautiful. And I really, really have this experience of delight in feeling you and hearing truth be spoken. I'm really grateful. Thank you.
Thank you too, Gail. I love you.
And I love your feather earrings and all that jazz.
Oh,
And your headband. You're just a beautiful little fairy over there in fairyland. One hell of a wise fairy.
yay!
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm going to go back to Bob now because now he
All
has,
right.
isn't that fun?
Bob raised his hand.
Bob
Okay.
raised his hand. So raise your hand if you want to come back.
Okay, I love you.
I love you. Aloha, Bob.
Yeah, so what you were talking about reminded me of this little passage of Joel Goldsmith. It's just
Okay.
like a short couple sentences. So he says, this is very important to understand because if you could have your wish, you might believe with a deep conviction based on your past experience that you know what you want and that what you want is ultimately for your good. Yet if you could have that granted, it might turn out to be the most destructive thing that ever happened to you in all your life. Over and over again, people have set their hearts or minds on a certain goal and have had
Yeah.
no rest until they achieved it. Then, when it was achieved, they found that was not what they really wanted at all.
Yeah.
And then he says this, there's a part of you that knows not only what you should have, but has the ability to bring it into expression for you.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So that's the key right there, to get in touch with that part of you that knows not only what you should have, but has the ability to bring it into expression for you. That's
Yeah,
the
and
key.
you know there's nothing to get in touch with either. I mean, the subconscious mind is just naturally interpreting all of the feelings that have gone before and putting them out onto the screen of consciousness. And that is
Right. Yeah.
that's what's giving us exactly what we need to see
Yeah.
through the illusion.
Yeah.
So
He's saying
there's nothing,
there's
yeah,
already part of no.
yeah, there's nothing to connect with because there's only
Yeah.
one.
Right.
And that's before the conscious and subconscious mind. We're
Right.
not in there.
This this what he's talking about, that aspect that you're describing.
What did you say?
And knows what this is, that aspect he's talking about that you're describing, that
Yes.
knows what you uh, should have, but has the ability to bring it into expression for you.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I'm referring to as the subconscious mind, that which knows what you need, always bringing it
Right.
forth.
And how to
Yeah.
bring it into expression for you. So then, yeah, that you just have to relax back,
Yeah.
just settle back and enjoy the ride that brings you forward into your life.
Yes, with the conscious mind, all we're doing is feeding the subconscious mind with information through feeling.
Mm. Hmm.
That's what's going on now. Every feeling,
Feeling,
with every breath, within every experience, we're seeding the subconscious mind with feeling that is writing, and the subconscious mind is using that to write the future, basically.
but what about like repressed or hidden feelings in the subconscious that are directing us, that are pushing us, that are manipulating us in our lives?
Yeah, that's why in the conscious mind they arise. The feelings arise. So we have the choice at that point to either allow the feeling to be at it as it is, or try to rationalize it or repress it. And that's a lot of what's going on. It takes a lot of honesty to really face whatever is arising. And then
Mm.
and see in the manifestation, and through the manifestation, we'll find ourselves triggered by those repressed feelings. And then what'll happen is the ego will try to make it go away or make it feel better. Like I was talking earlier on shame, the ego say a shameful feeling will come up because there's an idea that we acted in a way that was imperfect. Okay, there's the perception that we acted in a way that was imperfect, so then shame will arise. Well, one thing that the ego will try to do, and this is very common, is to say, oh, thank you for the shame because now I know how to be a better person.
Mm. Right.
Instead of just noticing the shame. It's like it always wants to
Mm.
talk about it and make it into something. Instead of just simply noticing the shame and allowing it. There's nothing to try
Mm.
to talk about. There's nothing to try to talk about with it. There's nothing to rationalize.
You
It's
don't
not
have
to
to
say,
analyze.
oh, yeah, or analyze that. Oh, I need this. Thank you to the shame because I need this shame to know how to act in this world. That's just another way of holding the illusion together, because it's saying that I'm an illusion. I only need shame if I'm an illusion for operating in this world. But
Yeah, but you want but people know that shame isn't serving them any purpose. So, but you analyze it to kind of get to the roots. Oh, yeah, well, it was my Catholic upbringing, or that was
yeah,
society, or that was my parents, that imposed that shame on me. I have to analyze this so I can be free of the shame. But you're saying you
yeah,
don't have to go back to the past. You just feel the shame.
yeah. You just and feel it in its full form. One thing that I see that's trying to be done is go shame isn't bad. It's valuable for knowing how to be as an illusion, as a human. You know.
Mm.
Well, it's not good or bad. It's totally neutral, and it's the effect of feeling like we are an illusion. So if we want to pretend like it's valuable for knowing how to be as an illusion in an illusory world, then we're really giving it the function of keeping the illusion together.
Yeah, well, shame, guilt, that's for a sin, that's for a crime, that's for something
Right.
that you're being punished for that you did that was wrong, that was judged bad or unacceptable to the rules of society or culture.
So yeah, so what the
So,
mind will try to do is soften the blow. The mind will try to soften the blow and say, "Oh, this feeling of shame doesn't really mean I'm bad. It means I'm imperfect," which is the
yeah,
same. Which is the same thing.
yeah.
I mean,
So,
it's still saying I'm an illusion.
it's
No,
just going
and
back to that.
yeah, and what I'm inviting is don't try to soften the blow. Feel the full force of the blow, so that it could be used to see through the illusion of separation, not to keep
Oh, so
holding it
that,
together.
yeah, so that's like Lynn there feeling the blow of her boyfriend going out with a girl and
Feeling the full
feeling
force of it. Yes.
the full brunt of it and, just feeling it. Huh?
Yes, letting it be just like it is, instead of trying to mentally change it into something else.
Right, that he's guilty for, making me feel jealous or by
Yeah.
seeing this woman friend or something.
Yeah. Or even I need to feel this so that I could be motivated to be a better girlfriend, or so that I could be
Right.
motivated. Any so that.
Yeah. So you will want to go out with her. I'll give you more this, that, or my time or my
Yeah.
whatever to satisfy you, so you're not interested in other women.
Yeah. Or even so that I'll be motivated to leave him. It's all the only so that is so that you can see through the illusion.
Oh, if he does that enough time, that might motivate you to leave him.
It might, but it's not. But it's not like, oh, I need this so that I can have a new motivation in this illusion, because then that makes it as if the illusion is real and needs to continue.
Right. And then there's
What
this
everybody,
comfort.
what
Then
everyone really
this,
wants is, go ahead.
no, what everyone really wants. Go ahead, finish that.
What everyone really wants is for this illusion of separation to completely disappear. It seems like we want to make it better, but ultimately, better always has its opposite. It's only going to be temporarily better. So
Right.
what we really
But
want is
that's
for
what.
it to disappear. We don't know it for the most part.
Right. And so then there's Gail and her friend that owes her the $6,000. So
Yeah,
then she has to feel that sensation that she might this friend might have betrayed her or stolen from her or didn't own up to her word or her uh, saying that she would repay the money or whatever. So $6,000 is a lot of money to lose. So then she would have to feel that out too.
yeah, and there's not necessarily any reason to be triggered. I mean, some people might be triggered by that, and some people might not be triggered by it. But if there is a trigger arising, then all there is to do is feel it, because the reason for the trigger isn't actually the person not repaying the $6,000. The reason for the trigger in the first place is the belief in separation. That's what makes it seem like there's something to lose or something to protect.
Hmm. Yeah, well, that's just it. There's me, and then there's the separate person that has my money. And, like Joel Goldsmith talks about giving money to someone is just basically taking it from your left hand pocket and putting it in your right hand pocket. that it's all the
Exactly.
same.
Exactly. We can't give to anyone but ourselves.
Yeah.
And that includes shame. So if there's an idea that she should be doing something different, then that's just to be seen. Just to be seen that that's a giving of it's trying to share shame, which can't be shared.
But I guess if you had that attitude that giving money is from your left hand to your right hand pocket, or
Yeah.
that it's all oneself,
Yeah.
then the 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 woman that's got your $6,000 is yourself. You haven't lost the money, and the
Yeah.
same way if your boyfriend goes out with another girl, where that other girl is yourself too, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
there's no division or separation of yourself to any other self because there's only one self.
Yeah. There's nothing to lose, nothing to
Nothing
gain.
to lose, jealous about, nothing to lose, nothing to
Right.
gain, nothing to break up from or try
Yeah.
to win them back or whatever.
Right.
That you're relaxed and clear in the one self,
Uh-huh.
and then then that's what's going to bring about the harmony in the situation because
Yeah.
you're already feeling harmony in the situation.
Yeah.
You're not looking for harmony. You're not looking for the boyfriend to stay home with you. You're not looking
Right.
for the girl to pay you the $6,000. You're already at peace. You're already in harmony. You know the truth of the situation. And so then that will bring the external harmony in whatever your relationship is with this money or this boyfriend.
Yes. And then
Because
everything
you,
everything can work out too.
and then
Everything.
that's how everything will work out. Instead of
Yeah.
thinking, oh, it's not working out, and I'm mad or I'm jealous or I'm lacking, and I expect this person to do something to, make my discomfort better. Whereas, yeah, you just have to do it yourself and be it yourself, know it
Yeah, just
yourself.
basically being jealous or whatever it is. Just being
Yeah,
in that and not following thoughts about why.
yeah,
Because
just
when it's just felt, it comes to be known why. It's seen why.
right.
Why.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then
That's
it's
right.
not a trigger. You might just go, oh, okay. Um, you might just go, okay, this guy obviously likes to hang out with other chicks, and I'm not into that, so um, I'm going over here. Or you might say, yeah, this guy likes to hang out with other chicks, and I still like him, so I'm just going to keep on hanging out with him. And it's not a trigger.
Well, it sounds like he's not really, betraying the relationship. He's just being, friends with another woman or something.
Well, sure, whatever it is. Whatever it is,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Anything that it is. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it is. It's just being whole and complete in yourself and loving yourself and
Yeah.
not expecting, someone to repay you or someone to love you. You're doing it for yourself.
Then anything can happen.
Right. But that's what puts everything in right order and right harmony.
Yes.
It's already established in you already. And
Right.
then that's what will bring about the right harmony or circumstance in the external with regard to your external money or friend or boyfriend.
Yes. Amen. All right. So
Amen.
are we complete? If we're not
I
complete,
guess so.
don't put your hand up. Seems like
Yeah,
Bob.
well, what's that? Do I
Seems
still have
like
my hand up?
no, you don't. I put it down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Gail just texted me. She said, "Amen, Bob."
Oh, good, good. I'm glad that helped her a little bit with her situation.
Hooray. All right. Thank you so much for joining Wisdom Dialogues. And thank you to everyone who's watching after the fact or listening after the fact. I love you and Peace out.